faith. This is the way. Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Hello, critics, non-critics, and friends. Welcome to the Film Optix podcast, brought to you by the Drive-In Podcast Network, where we discuss film, TV, and all things Hollywood here on the show. I'm your host, Christian, and I'm joined by my co-host, Devin. And in this episode, we're going to be reviewing one of the latest films that hit theaters and HBO Max this past week, The Many Saints of Newark, Soprano story. And before we begin today's show, you can listen to our podcast on platforms around the internet. And if you're a new or seasoned listener to the show, we'd love to hear from you guys. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Film Optix. Although, as of right now, Instagram is completely down. You can also find us on Facebook, but again, that's also down. So yeah, the internet's broken. It's all there. But Devin.
Well, we don't really care about Facebook, but
hey,
yeah, Instagram's down.
I mean, our podcast is on Facebook. Spoiler alert, everyone. Well, not really, but more of just a hey, oh my gosh. But yeah, I officially added our podcast to Facebook. Like our actual RSS feed is there. I didn't know you could do it. I thought it was only for a select few, but it's there. So hey, get the platform, get the podcast, get the show on as many platforms as you can, except YouTube, because we don't do that here yet. Anyway, we used to, but anyway, Devin, how's your week been? This is our second review for today. We just got off work a little bit ago. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm gonna cook up some spaghetti tonight.
Same.
Getting the right mindset for some meatballs.
Some meatballs. Some gabagool. We got the prosciutto. Yeah, definitely, man. So, man, oh man. Before we get into our review, really quick, yeah, it's just been a nice little easy week so far. I mean, it's only Monday, but we're in the weeds now, Devin. We are here. It is October. October is here. We're recording this on October 4th, and it's spooky season. Some people argue that spooky season starts in September, but I'm more of a, hey, let's get Halloween out of the way. I have been watching a lot of horror films. Rewatched The Shining, watched Dr. Sleep, the director's cut this time around, which is pretty interesting. Still, I think that is the perfect horror double feature, The Shining and Dr. Sleep, just amazing. Also, I checked out Midsummer director's cut. I thought that on 4K. Finally got around to watching it. Just kind of it was just sitting on my shelf forever. And I was like, you know what? I need to watch this. Gotta say, Devin, 10 times better than theatrical. It covers
10 times.
Yes, honestly, it is the way to watch Midsummer, because there's a lot. Ari Aster adds in so many more scenes in order to complete. Because there were times where, I felt like some things were missing. This is definitely the superior version, 100%. I don't know if
might give it a shot. It's on Amazon, I believe.
The director's cut is?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Because I just have the 4K version, so I didn't know if it was available for streaming or video on demand or anywhere. But Devin, what have you been doing this spooky season? You been watching a lot of horror shows, playing some horror games there, just chilling?
I've been rewatching some oldies, some old Halloweens, some Evil Dead, just kind of getting in that mood. Mm-hmm. Not the best movies, but just put them on in the background.
Some oldies but goodies. I feel it, man. I'm
very much looking forward to Halloween Kills.
Oh, honestly, so am I. And I would say, in terms of slasher movies, I never really cared for Michael Myers, but maybe this will help me. I don't know. But yeah, I feel you there, man. I'm going to be diving into Haunting of Hill House and Bly Manor here very, very soon.
It's about time.
I had to, there's other movies I want to watch. I want to watch, I've been on a big Mike Flanagan binge. So I want to watch Hush as well. But I think today I'm going to start Haunting of Hill House, at least get a few episodes in. So we'll see if I sleep tonight, but it is what it is. Anyway, Devin, are you ready to get into The Many Saints of Newark review? Because I feel like we've been, warming up the crowd here. We're getting everyone nice, general interested. So Are you ready?
I'm just going to prepare you for Haunting of Hill House, episode 5. Just be ready.
How many episodes is it? 10?
Yeah.
Okay. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. All right. So this is what we're going to do.
But yeah, as far as Saints of Newark, I feel like...
Whoa, hold on 1 second, Devin.
I'm not giving any information. I'm just saying, take this with a giant grain of salt.
Okay.
Neither of us has watched any Sopranos ever. So this is just...
Shh, Devin, don't tell
the most
them that.
blind review possible.
Honestly, I think it's better that way because my parents watched The Sopranos, growing up. They absolutely loved it. But, I think it's nice to view specific movies with just like a fresh pair of eyes. Like I did, at least with Candyman, the new one. I didn't know that the 1992 version was connected to this one, but it is what it is. But yeah,
I just think it's not the most fair of reviews to give, and we should let people know.
Yeah, I know. I'm just messing with you. But no, we have not watched The Sopranos here. I know. It sucks. It's terrible. We're horrible people. We haven't watched it.
I have seen the ending.
I have not seen the ending, but I definitely plan to give it a watch. It is on my TV watch list. But we're going to be right back to start our The Many Saints of Newark review right after this short break.
Antonio Soprano.
I wonder if I can talk to you alone for a moment, Mrs. Soprano. On the basis of the Sanford Binet, he's high IQ.
You can't prove it by me. He's got a D+ average.
Well, he doesn't apply himself, but he is smart. The results tell us he's a leader.
All right, Devin, we are back with our The Many Saints of Newark review, a Sopranos story, and this film is directed by Alan Taylor. Writers include David Chase and Lawrence Konner, and stars Alessandro Nivola and Leslie Odom Jr. and John Bernthal, just to name a few. And the synopsis is as follows. Wow, I cannot talk today, y'all. I am very, very sorry. This is a very quick synopsis, by the way. A look of the formative years of the New Jersey gangster Tony Soprano. Yep, in a way, yes, it is. But in another way,
entirely.
It doesn't feel that way. Doesn't feel that way at all. But I'm going to pass it over to Devin here as the Italiano in the show.
My first question is, where's Chris Pratt? Why couldn't they get Chris Pratt in this movie?
Chris Pratt.
He's the Italian representative now, apparently.
Is he? Oh, that's right. Mario. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Mario. This New Jersey, New York here. It's Mario over there. I know for New York.
That's the worst pronunciation.
It literally
so much.
It literally is.
Mario.
He's like, it's a me, I'm Mario. No, it's a me, I'm Mario. There you go. Anyway, continue, Devin.
Yeah, just wanted to get that out there. Just Chris Pratt represents all of us as Italians, apparently.
Apparently he does.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this one.
No.
Like I said, it's just so hard not knowing anything about the series, really, other than Tony Soprano being a mob boss, basically. But as far as the movie goes, it just seems like it was a way different movie than what the trailer was portraying. Because the trailer's like, oh, it's like a coming of age type movie for Tony Soprano. You see how he came up in life and what his upbringing was, what caused him to become what he is in that show. But then this movie doesn't really focus on him entirely, or at least not as much as I would have liked.
Yeah, I do agree with you there, Devin. And I label this one, it is more of a disjointed prequel in a way, just because it does feel like, and I've seen a lot of people online say this, especially on Twitter, it does feel like two separate stories. I feel like we did not spend a lot of time with Tony Soprano. This movie,
even the cover on IMDb is Dickie's character.
Yeah, and actually, fun fact, I'm not sure if you knew this, but the older version, or like the teen version of Tony Soprano, that is actually played by the guy who played Tony Soprano. That's his son.
Michael Gandolfini is
Yeah.
his name.
Yeah, Michael Gambon. Yeah, that is Tony Soprano's, well, the actor's, his actual son, looks just like him. My mom had pointed that out. I was like, oh, I didn't know that. He was also in Cherry. Michael was. Yeah, and that's where I recognized him from. But yeah, I do agree with you there, Devin. It feels incomplete. I feel like the trailer itself really just misled a lot of people, because
it was a really good trailer, though. That's the thing.
Yeah,
you
it
actually got me excited for somebody who's never seen the show. Like, I was excited for the trailer.
Yeah,
just because it seemed interesting.
And
then they kind of go in a different direction.
In a way, we kind of thought we can get away with this because it is a prequel. I will say, what's up?
Technically,
it is well, it's like, okay, well, you would think with a prequel you can start from the beginning, but as we've known with so many other iterations in film, especially with Star Wars, well, Star Wars does work where you can start from the beginning. You might fall asleep a few times, but you can definitely start from the beginning. This definitely feels like, Star Wars all over again. You have the main meat and potatoes in the middle, and then you create a prequel that, yes, for people who have watched the show, I think they're going to like it a lot. From what I've seen, some people still feel a bit iffy on it.
The reviews on IMDb say otherwise.
Oh.
From what I read, but...
Yeah, and when I read on Rotten Tomatoes, the same thing. It seemed very mixed, and even the Rotten Tomatoes score, it seems very iffy. Between tomato meter for critics is 75, for audience it's 59, excuse me. So it just doesn't seem to be hitting well with audiences. Like, I thought, everyone loves a good mob movie, and like I was like kind of interested in this and hoping that it would, spark me to start watching the show, even though I really have no excuse. The show has been out for forever and is streaming on HBO Max. But yeah, it just doesn't seem very, it's the runtime is 2 hours. And so, and we'll get into it a bit with the spoilers, but we see two versions of Tony in this movie as well. But like you said, it
takes a while to get to the trailer, Tony.
Yeah, yeah.
Too long. I was just sitting there waiting like
an hour in.
What movie is this?
Yeah, like literally like an hour in. And even then, like I just feel like he wasn't really in the movie all that much at all. And it really focuses on his uncle more so than him. But yeah, unfortunately, I really wanted to like this movie. I'm not sure about you, but I did watch this on HBO Max. I just felt like it was just one of those films where, it's like sometimes you kind of just know. It's like, okay, like I want to check out this movie, but I don't want to go out of my way to go watch it in the theater. Like I wouldn't go out of my way to watch this movie in the theater. And I think now with HBO Max, one good thing that came out of it is they can kind of gauge which movies they probably should just put straight to HBO Max versus the ones that should be in the theater, because this one definitely felt like a home viewing for me, especially it being, based off a TV show. But I don't know. Then again, when I like Downton Abbey, that's one of my favorite shows. I went to go see the movie in the theater and I loved it, but it was so well connected, and this one doesn't have that at all, unfortunately. But
well, how would you know?
What do you mean? Oh, without watching the show. I guess, and that's a fair question. I would just say from the people that I knew who have watched the show and who have watched The Many Saints of Newark, from their perspective, because the show is very, very beloved, but I do see what you're saying. But I guess like for Downton Abbey, like that movie takes place after the series. And it literally, like beat for beat, it's like maybe like it's like a few years down the road. This is clear. Like when we see Tony, like I've seen clips and parts. Obviously, when we see Tony in The Sopranos, he's a full grown man. This is teenage Tony. So I guess that would be my answer to that. But I do see what you're saying though. But just as far as like, I guess we can judge it more on just
how it is as like a mob / mafia movie.
Oh, for sure. Did you want to get into
Just the-
spoilers or no?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. Hold on 1 second. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is your first spoiler warning because I feel like we are getting the spoiler territory here for this one. Again, that is your second spoiler warning. So if you haven't seen it, hop on your couch, watch it on HBO Max, or go watch it in the movie theater, whichever you prefer. The choice is yours. But Devin, I do apologize. Continue.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. The word that best describes it is just disjointed. I've been seeing that around, and I agree. It feels like because there's a whole B plot with Leslie Odom Jr.'s character that feels really forced. Like they just kind of shoehorned that one in there. It's cool that they got Leslie Odom Jr. Like that does make it. I can see why they would want to add a character like that if they have an actor like him to add in, because he's a great actor and he obviously brings a lot to the screen. But that whole side plot just didn't really lead to anything. Didn't feel like at the end, he's just kind of there. We don't really know what happens to him in the end, and like we've mentioned before, not enough Tony. And it felt like it's cool that we see his uncle and how much of an influence he had on him, and the things that he did to him that affected him, but we don't really know why those things affected him so much.
Yeah, and I do agree. It definitely seems one-sided with Tony's with his uncle, and everything we've seen that he's going through that kind of trickles down onto Tony, and Tony's a super smart kid. You hear it in the trailer that his IQ test is like through the roof. He's a leader, and I mean you feel bad for Tony. It's just. I just wish we would have got more of him because, like you said, with the B plotline of Leslie Odom Jr., it's like, yeah, like if you get Leslie in a movie, you definitely need to use him like to his fullest potential. Do not, there's no underutilization here. But I do feel like that took away from a lot because, like we said before, the first hour of this movie is more so of like toddler Tony, and then we get teen Tony. I'm sorry. I should not laugh at my own jokes, but I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, we get toddler Tony for the first half and then teen Tony for the last hour of the movie. And it's kind of weird. Like you see some of the effects because, his uncle originally is kind of like painted as a somewhat good guy. His father brings back a new wife from Italy, and, his father being his father, being very abusive and whatnot. He kind of takes the anger out on his father and, kicks the bucket there, kind of seals the deal. And then after a while, like
big fan of her.
Yeah. Well, like, were you able to follow along just fine, or did you feel like there was a lot missing? Like, I mean, I know we keep saying it's disjointed, but just from the movie that we got, do you feel like it could have served better if it was longer, or just focusing more on Tony Soprano? Because like there are times where I felt like I was following along, but other times it kind of lost me for like a half a second. But then again, of course, we have never seen the show, so we don't know.
Yeah, that's what we have to keep coming back to. It's like, of course, there's going to be times where we don't know what's going on. Like even the narrator, I have no idea who that is. Like, but of course, if you watch the show, you're going to know who that is, and it's going to make it a lot better of an experience. Because there's the narrator throughout the whole thing where I don't know who that is or what he's referring to, but
it was just, like for us, like it is going to be confusing to a point, but I was hoping that this movie would do a good job for newcomers to the show to help them promote, to get more subscribers, get more people watching Sopranos on HBO Max. 'Cause the entire series is on there. I feel like they could have done a better job. Much like, like we both play a lot of video games. There are a lot of games out there that, even though they are, I don't know, the third, fourth, fifth installment, I mean, in the series, it definitely, like, even with like Halo Infinite, hopefully what's with like the story, or actually a better example that I usually use would be Final Fantasy 15. Now with that, it being the 15th installment in the series, it can put a lot of people off. But they market it as this is a Final Fantasy game for newcomers and for fans, alike. And like that game does a very good job of balancing out, of ushering new fans into this world while, you know, still retaining old fans. And I feel like with this movie, with the Many Saints of Newark, that should have been their goal, was to help more people get invested into the show. Now, I do know some people who have watched the show prior to watching the movie so they can understand it. And that's a lot of dedication. But I feel like this, as a prequel, it should have been the opposite. It should have been something that new and returning fans, or especially for newer fans, to get those HBO Max numbers up. You know what I mean?
I have to disagree.
Oh.
I just feel like for such a beloved show as The Sopranos, like they shouldn't have to make the movie geared towards the new audience.
Right.
Like imagine watching El Camino without watching Breaking Bad. Ooh. That would not be good.
Yeah, and like, I feel like that's where we
there's just nothing there for you.
That
is the
true.
exact same thing.
Yeah, because we've seen Breaking Bad, and yeah, I feel like that. Yeah, that's the exact same boat. That's a really good point, Devin. I guess I was just thinking more of the opportunity that they did have, but since
it feels like HBO might have like tried to force some of that into the movie, where they're trying to make it more geared towards new audience. It feels like they might have forced the creator into doing that, because I feel like he could have made a more like hardcore movie trying to
for the actual
fans.
For the I see where you're coming from with that for sure. That definitely does make a lot more sense, because as big as the Sopranos are, I mean, this is HBO. Like they have, everyone knows that they're, you know, The Wire, Game of Thrones, Sopranos, Sex and the City. Like there's just so many shows out there that HBO has just been known for. And I do agree with you there. And I guess it would be the same thing with maybe with Game of Thrones. I'm not entirely sure, because there is a new, well, there's not a Game of Thrones movie in the work. I really hope there isn't, but I really, really hope they don't do that. But I do. Okay, that actually makes more sense coming from that perspective. You know, like, hey, this is much like Zack Snyder's Justice League. Like, I mean, new people can watch it, but at the end of the day, it is for, you know, Zack, his family, his daughter Odom, and for the fans. That is what that.
I mean, that's just what it seems like to me. Like it's not great, seemingly, from what we've been seeing. It's not great as a Sopranos movie, and it's also not great as a general mob movie. It tried to balance them both instead of going hard into one or the other, and that might be the downfall.
You see, you know what this means, Devin. We got to do Sopranos rewatch on the pod. Come on, now we can do it.
Let's see how many episodes we got there.
Well, I know there's 6 seasons, and I think there's on HBO Max
86 episodes.
We can do it. Well, we could do it season by season, not episode by episode. That is a huge task. That's like Game of Thrones level task. That's a lot. But if we ever wanted to, the opportunity is there. And then everyone can just ignore this episode, and then they can just listen to us gush about the Sopranos. But no, it's all right. Yeah, but was there any other thoughts that you had about the movie here? I'm trying to think myself, just overall. Obviously, you know, we get Ray Liotta in this film, as well as Odom Jr.
Two Ray Liottas. classic random twin shows up.
For like 2 seconds, I was confused. I'm like, oh, they're twins.
I was confused for multiple minutes.
Were you?
Did another time jump? What is happening?
I was like, okay. As soon as you said your father, I'm like, okay, he's a twin. But they never see. This is something else we might be missing that they might address in the show. If Tony's uncle, I believe that's Alessandro Nivola, if his character in the show, if his parents or his uncle and brother were identical twins. So I'm not entirely sure. If you know, leave us a comment, please, either on Twitter.
I don't even think he was in the show, to be honest.
No? Okay.
I don't see him.
Not Ray Liotta. Well, not Ray Liotta.
On his. No, I'm talking about Alessandro Nivola. He was not in the show, from what I'm seeing.
Okay.
So he's a new character.
Okay. I wonder if he is the character that that they created for, you know, outside audiences to kind of pull them in, much like they did with Mortal Kombat. So I don't know. It's all crazy, man. But overall, like, there were parts that I liked, you know, nice little gangbang violence going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of good violence and like really good like kill scenes, I guess.
Yeah.
Like that steering wheel.
Oh my dude, that was insane. I was like, okay, I didn't think that he was gonna kill Ray Liotta. Like, I did not think Alessandro was gonna do that. I'm like, oh, he just keeps going and going. And I'm like, okay, I guess this is it. Like, you know, he served his place in here. But it really it was kind of like, if there was one thing I'd take away positive from it, it was kind of like a cycle of violence. Like, you see it from Alessandro's father, this passed on to him, and then, you know, that anger and hatred kind of gets passed on to, you know, Tony, and, you know, he becomes the mob boss that he is. So I don't know, man. But oh man,
I guess one other thing I would add, this could be a case of not having more background, but it feels like the reveal at the end of who took out the hit on Dickie was very anticlimactic.
It was.
But once again, there could be like big character information that we just don't have about Junior Soprano.
I thought Tony put the hit on his uncle. And then I'm like, oh no,
I didn't know who did it.
And then
it was just a blurry guy, and then there's a phone call, and it's like, oh, you killed your brother because he laughed at you. Okay.
Yeah, because you fell down the stairs at a funeral.
Yeah,
because it was slippery.
Yourself.
Yeah, caution, slippery when wet. And I was like, okay, yeah, I do agree, man. That was pretty lame, but I did get through it. The pacing was a little bit all over the place for me, just because I feel like they were trying to tell so much within a 2-hour window. But hey, it is what it is, man. I couldn't even. Again, we have not watched the show, and we're sorry. It's just we wanted to cover this because it's October.
I feel bad even doing this review.
I do, but I feel like it is important for. I wonder if, you know, there are Soprano fans out there who, you know, people who kind of just watch it just to watch it because like, oh, you know, it's a prequel. I don't really need to know anything else. And I feel like that is everyone's mindset while going to see this movie, is that I don't need to watch the series prior to understand what's going on because it is a prequel, and the prequel thinking it was set up for The Sopranos, but it really doesn't. It's more of early years type situation. But I guess, would you like to see them take another jab at this, or do you think they should just drop it and go home?
I don't think this is bringing in more series or more movies.
Yeah, it just feels like it feels like
so it's just that trailer. That trailer really
so
roped
good.
me in because it was like, oh, it's a coming of age story for Tony Soprano.
Yeah,
sounds great. But then it's just
perfect.
He's in half of the movie, and then in half of the movie. So he's in a fourth of the movie, which was what I should have said in the first place.
I wonder how much screen time he actually has, because I was wondering myself. I'm like, when are we going to see Teenage Tony? Because that's what I really want to see. That's why I watched this movie, Warner Brothers.
The trailer was 100% centered around him.
Yeah. And I didn't even I thought, okay, maybe for like the first 10, 15 minutes, you know, we get taller Tony, you know, he's there, he's doing his thing. And then we get teenage angst to Tony, Anakin Tony. But yeah, any other final thoughts here before we give our our scores and we wrap up here?
I don't think I had anything else.
Yeah, I didn't either. Unfortunately,
we're sorry, some pasta
guys.
Tonight.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we got the pasta. We got, you know, what, you watching anything fun tonight? Or you just chilling, hanging out.
Football.
Oh, that's right. Monday. Who's playing tonight?
Raiders, Chargers.
Dude, we've been Steelers.
Yeah, luckily the Steelers were awful again, so I could stop watching early and get the Sopranos movie out of the way.
Hey, well, there you go. Thank you, Warner Brothers, thank you, Steelers, for. We shouldn't be saying this, but thank you for sucking. It's been a rough year so far, man. I mean, we're only 4 games in, but I think we're 1-3 right now. So we'll have.
Yeah.
I think it's time.
Gabagool.
I think it's time for Ben to go, man. He's got to go.
Yeah, he's over. Looking old.
He is. I mean, it's not his fault, but it's. I mean, after last year's stuff, I was like, are we sure we want this man coming back for another season? I mean, like, I know the good wishes and the, you know, the determination is there, but our score says otherwise. But that's all right. Anyway, Devin, what would you give The Many Saints of Newark that is now streaming on HBO Max and in theaters?
This feels like the most useless rating I'll ever give a movie ever, just because it just does not matter. I'm just going to give it a 50, right down the middle.
A 50. Okay. I'm going to give it. I might have to agree with you on that. I'm going to give it a 52 for effort.
Yeah. For the trailer.
For the trailer. It was such a good trailer. Such a good trailer. It roped me in. I was like, I'm watching this movie this weekend. I was very, very excited. And then we were kind of let down. But that happens a lot when you review movies and TV shows like on a weekly basis. Like everything, like it, you know, it's as much as we want to love everything and think everything is good. A lot of the things we watch are usually disappointing to an extent, depending on the studio. But yeah, so 50 from Devin and a 52 from me. I almost gave it 55. I'm like, whoa, that's way too high. But yeah, an extra 2 points for that trailer effort. But that pretty much wraps up our review here of The Many Saints of Newark. Again, if you're watching it at home, you can stream it on HBO Max. If you are a part of the, if you're paying $15 a month, if you're paying for, what is it? The ad supported version, you will not get it. It's only with the ad free version of HBO Max, or you can watch it in theaters on the silver screen if you're a big Sopranos fan. Again, we're sorry. We're really, really sorry. It's we were just very excited, you know, like, I mean, I'm still going to watch the series at some point, but I got to get through a lot of other things myself. But yeah, that pretty much concludes our review of Many Saints of Newark, as I said before. But Devin, what do we have coming up on the pod? My gosh, it's, you know, like I said, it's October.
No Time to Die.
Yeah, literally no time to die during this month. We have a lot coming up on the schedule. We have our Marvel's What If finale dropping on October 6th. And we have our No Time to Die, our James Bond 007 No Time to Die review that is dropping on October 11th. And we have a few friends of the show who will be joining us. We have Ryan McQuaid over from In a Session Film, and we have Griffin Schiller himself over from Film Speak. Definitely go check out their content. You can go check out InSessionFilm.com, and you can also go check out filmspeak.net and FilmSpeak on YouTube, because Griffin makes a lot of great stuff, a lot of great content. He actually got to interview Daniel Craig. James Bond is his very favorite franchise of all time. So congratulations there to Griffin. That's a lot of fun.
Gonna feel bad in that review too.
Oh, damn it, we can't give out all the secrets. All right, we've never seen a James Bond movie. You're gonna figure it out sooner or later. So it is. Well, I've seen bits and parts. I just haven't seen one all the way through. I've been told to watch all of, like, you know, Daniel Craig's ones. I was like, well, I'm seeing it Wednesday, so probably not. They're like, at least watch Spectre. I'm like, I'd rather watch Haunting of Hill House and Bly Manor. So we have that coming up. And last but not least, just a glimpse more into the future. We have our Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone review, our anniversary review, our part of our movie series of covering all the Harry Potter films, since it is the 20th anniversary review coming up this November. We have our Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone review. We'll be joined by a few more guests over there as well. Fortunately, Devin will not be joining us because he's not a Harry Potter fan, but that is totally fine. It is my project. It's something I decided I would like to do. So it's a big passion project for me. So we're all set for Sorcerer's Stone. We got some awesome guests joining us. That will be dropping not this week, but next week on the, the 13th, October 13th. So that's on a Wednesday. So we'll be replacing Harry Potter with Marvel's What If for our movie series. So that would be a lot of fun. But that pretty much concludes everything we wanted to cover for you guys today. And let's get on out of here, Devin. And And that's a wrap for today, everyone. Thank you all for listening. And if you enjoy the show, leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts and follow us on Twitter and Instagram to stay in the know. That was Devin. My name is Christian, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Peace.